Hello, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. My name is Michelle, and for this practice, you'll want to have 2 blocks and a strap. Actually, let's begin either sitting on a block or on the ground in hero's pose, if that's an appropriate posture for your body, like you're not working with knee injuries. You could sit on the block between your ankles like this. Take a moment to adjust yourself so that you can feel upright and relaxed. So yoga is inevitably the practice of working with our minds. Even though you might come for a good stretch or to strengthen your physical body, we can't separate body and mind. Each is being affected either way. And yoga is the path to living an awakened life. What do I mean about that? Living an awakened life. It's where we're not moving, we're not doing things all on autopilot or being just pushed around by our mind's habits. So I want to share a very old book by Eckhart Tolle called A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, where he talks about the ego and what to look out for. We talked about the kleshas and asmita and how when we're over-identified with the ego in our minds, that we lose touch of our self and our perception becomes so clouded and we're no longer in charge of the decisions that we're making. We start to go on autopilot or triggers or just moving through habits. So here's a little bit about it. Most people are so completely identified with a voice in the head, the incessant stream of involuntary and compulsive thinking, and the emotions that accompany it, that we may describe them as being possessed by their mind. As long as you are completely unaware of this, you take the thinker to be who you are. This is the egoic mind. We call it egoic because there is a sense of self, of I, ego, in every thought, every memory, every interpretation, opinion, viewpoint, reaction, emotion. This is unconsciousness, spiritually speaking. Your thinking, the content of your mind, is of course conditioned by the past, your upbringing, culture, family background, and so on. The central core of all your mind activity consists of certain repetitive and persistent thoughts, emotions, and reactive patterns that you identify with most strongly. This entity is the ego itself. In most cases, when you say I, it is the ego speaking, not you, as we have seen. It consists of thought and emotion, of a bundle of memories you identify with as me and my story, of habitual roles you play without knowing it, of collective identification such as nationality, religion, race, social class, or political allegiance. It also contains personal identifications, not only with possessions, but also with opinions, external appearance, long-standing resentments, or concepts of yourself as better than or not as good as others, as a success or failure. The content of the ego varies from person to person, but in every ego, the same structure operates. In other words, egos only differ on the surface. Deep down, they are all the same. In what way are they the same? They live on identification and separation. So the ego is always trying to uphold its existence. And part of our practice is to see when the ego is doing that and to not become entrapped or hooked by the ego mind, but to see it with discernment. Thank it for trying to protect you when it does, and then have that space that we've been practicing so much of, that mindfulness to, all right, now I'm aware that my ego is trying to make my decisions for me. Now I can think for myself. So that's a lot of the practice in meditation, right? When we're watching our thoughts and then we're coming back to the breath or whatever is your anchor to come back to the present moment, that anchor is our way back to creating that space. So we'll practice that more in meditation, but I also invite you to bring your attention to when the ego mind starts to speak when you're in your physical yoga practice. When does the ego mind start to say, oh, this is the way I've always done it, or I can't go as far in this pose as I used to, I must be getting worse, or it's just old age, whatever kinds of conditioning start to arise, I invite you with kindness to yourself to smile inward and just notice that you've noticed, which is so powerful. So with that, let's begin by checking in. As you're sitting still, become aware of any sensations in your physical body. Notice the quality of the breath, just letting it be. Sense your energy as you're beginning your practice. Notice the state of your mind and heart right now. What is the quality of your attention? Does your mind feel restless or scattered? Does it feel present, calm, without judging it as good or bad? Let the breath in a little deeper through the nose. Exhale completely through the mouth. Inhale a little slower through the nose. Exhale just as slowly through the mouth. In this way, continue to deepen and balance your in and out breaths. I invite you to call to mind something you appreciate in this moment. Then start to clarify your intention for today's practice. And then you might choose somebody to dedicate your practice to today as a way of making an offering and helping to step outside of the ego mind. And together, let's open this practice by chanting Om 3 times. As you continue to deepen your breath, I invite you into practicing Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. It's a way to bring a presence to our focus by listening to a sound that you're creating, by gently narrowing the back of your throat, closing your lips, and breathing evenly and slowly in and out through the nose. So that sound sort of sounds like peaceful ocean waves. As you start to listen to it, see if you can keep the sound consistent. And by paying attention to it, you're helping to keep your mind in the present. So with that, let's begin on hands and knees, all fours. And we'll start to warm up the shoulders and spine and cat-cow. We're going to continue with bringing the hips into extension and some lower back release. So as you breathe in, glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders down, gaze up, cow pose. As you breathe out, contract your abdomen, drop your head to round, cat pose. Then again, inhale, draw your heart forward, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, contract your belly and round your back. Take about 3 or 4 more cycles of Vinyasa, cat-cow. At the end of your exhalation, tuck your toes, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths moving your body any way it may need to loosen up. If you're looking to release tension in the lower back, you might find it helpful to swivel your hips side to side as you slowly pedal your feet in place. Relax the neck, maybe shaking and nodding your head a few times. And spread your fingers flat on the ground. Let your hands feel as if you're pressing the mat underground and towards your front wall so that your hips lift high and back. Slightly engage your abdomen as you press your chest back towards your shins. Now start to dissolve any movement in this pose. Steady your gaze, your drishti on one spot. Listen to about 3 more slow breaths. As you relax your neck, roll your outer upper arms towards the floor and lift the shoulders back. As you press the fronts of your thigh bones back, sink your heels deeper and deeper towards the ground. Even if you don't touch the floor, you might also bend the knees. When you've heard the end of the next exhalation, walk to the front of your mat into a standing forward fold. Feet apart, parallel to each other. Bend your knees as much as it allows. Lengthen your spine and for your neck to relax. Press your fingertips either on your thighs, shins, blocks, or the floor. As you inhale to lengthen your spine forward, engage your abdomen. Draw your shoulders back. Exhale, bow towards your legs. This time, press down through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up as you rise all the way to stand in mountain pose. Arms overhead, rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, join your hands down to your heart center. Tadasana. As you remember your intention for this practice, bring gratitude into your movements as we're saluting the sun. Sun salutation, Si. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and gently coil your chest up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow from the hips. You might bend the knees to support the back some more. Plant your fingertips down on the ground. Inhale, step your left knee behind you into a kneeling lunge. Look up. Holding your breath, step into plank, the top of a push-up. As you exhale, slowly lower your knees, chest, then chin in Ashtangasana. As you inhale, slide forward to your belly and draw your shoulders back to Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, firm in the belly, and lift your hips back to downward dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, rise slowly into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands into Padasana. One more time, second side. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips down. Inhale, step the right knee back. Look up. Holding your breath, step to plank. Exhale, lower your knees, chest and chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide forward, ground the tops of your feet, entering Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes and press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb, lower your left knee and gaze up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, slowly rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your hands, Padasana. Let's take one round of sun salutation A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Press down with your hands. Inhale, lengthen forward to Ardha Uttanasana. Carefully step to plank pose, and this time firm in the belly. As you exhale, glide forward, passing through Chaturanga Dandasana. Bend your elbows to hug your side ribs. Choose to lower to Cobra or flip the toes halfway down in Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. We're going to start a new Vinyasa flow, moving one breath per movement. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose. Softly stepping the foot beside your right thumb, lower your left knee. Keep the back toes tucked. Press down to your right foot. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead and gently coil your chest up. Anjaneyasana. Backstroke your arms and exhale. Tuck the back toes and lean forward in crescent lunge. Inhale, cartwheel the arms to warrior two. Spin the left heel down. Align right heel to arch of left foot. Flip the right palm up and exhale to peaceful warrior, side bending towards your rear wall. Inhale, lower your hands and step into plank pose. Exhale, take it through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. When you arrive in downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose and plank, softly stepping the foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee. Keep the back toes tucked and inhale, rise to Anjaneyasana, gently coiling your chest up. Exhale, backstroke the arms, lift the back knee and tilt forward to crescent. Inhale, cartwheel the arms to warrior two. Drop the right heel, align left heel to arch of right foot. Exhale, flip the left palm to face up and side bend towards your rear wall in peaceful warrior. Inhale, lower your hands and step to plank pose. Exhale, continue to lower into your vinyasa. Pausing in downward dog for 3 slow breaths. Notice what you're aware of here, whether in your body or your mind or breath. When you've emptied the third breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Exhale, Padasana, hands at the heart. Now let's take that same sequence, another round. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Step back to plank. Take it through your vinyasa. From downward facing dog. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose to lightly step the foot beside your right thumb. Lower the left knee, keep the back toes tucked. Inhale, rise to Anjaneyasana. Backstroke the arms and exhale, lift the back knee, tilt forward in crescent lunge, Degasana. Inhale, cartwheel the arms, warrior two to the left. Exhale, flip the right palm up, peaceful warrior towards the rear wall. Inhale, lower the hands, step to plank. Exhale, continue down into your vinyasa. Downward facing dog, second side. Inhale, square the hips, raise the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, step it beside left thumb. Lower the right knee, keep the back toes tucked. Inhale, rise to Anjaneyasana. Backstroke the arms and exhale, lift the back knee and tilt forward. Crescent lunge, Degasana. Inhale, cartwheel the arms, turn to the right in warrior two. Flip the left palm to face up. Exhale, peaceful warrior. Inhale, lower your hands to plank pose. Exhale, continue down, vinyasa. Downward dog, pause again, slow down the breath, and notice anything you notice. 3 breaths. Bend the knees, look forward. Walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, join your hands to your heart center. We're gonna play with a series of standing balancing poses. I invite you to grab your strap. We're not gonna use it right away, so you might wear it as a scarf so you don't have to reach back down and get it later. Take your 2 blocks and place them on their tallest height like this. Your shoulders distance apart, about 1 foot in front of your feet. Step your feet together to touch. Now bring your hands to your hips, and as your 2 feet are on the ground, notice how generally your 2 hips are leveled in height. Feel this as your reference point. Try to keep them leveled as you bend your knees into chair pose. Draw the lower belly in and up, and steady your gaze, steady your breath. As you shift your weight onto your left foot, rotate your right thigh externally, turn it out at the hip. Flexing your right foot, cross the ankle over your left thigh like a figure 4 and splay open the right thigh. Try to equally in height, draw the hips back. Engage the lower belly. You can keep your hands on your hips, you can join your hands at your heart. You can extend the arms up or reach for your blocks. How is your breathing? Tune into about 4 more breaths, drawing the hips back, firming the belly in, and relaxing the shoulders, steadying your eyes softly. Now, come back to figure 4 chair pose. Join your hands at the heart. Rise to stand on your left leg. Bend your right knee in front of you and flex the foot. Now bring your hands to your hips and try to balance the height of your hips again. Draw the navel in and step the ball of your right foot either into the loop or the center of the strap as you hold the strap in your left hand. Use your right thumb and hook your right outer hip crease down to try to keep your hips leveled. As you press the ground with the left foot, lift up through the center of your spine. Breathe in, relax the shoulders. Now begin to extend the right foot leg forward, giving yourself enough slack in the strap, but you're kicking the strap and pulling it with the same force so the left shoulder stays in its socket. Stand tall, breathe in. Now keep your hips leveled and still and begin to turn your rib cage to the right, entering a spinal twist. Those of you that can reach hold of your outer right foot while still standing up tall, you can remove the strap. Reach the right arm back behind you, maybe start to look towards it, but if that makes your balance wobbly, just look on the ground in front of you. About 3 more breaths. This is twisting hand to big toe pose. Harita, Uttita, Hasta, Parangushtasana. Now look forward, take a deep breath, and step the right foot to meet the left. Join your hands at your heart. Inhale slowly. Exhale completely. Come back to that slow Ujjayi rhythm. Now let's grab the strap for the second side, if you think you're going to use it. Wear it as a scarf. Bring your feet to touch. Keep your hips leveled and bend your knees into chair. Steady your eyes, steady your breath. Shift your weight to your right foot and turn out the left thigh at the hip. Flex your left foot. This is important to stabilize the knee, and cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Splay open the left thigh and try to evenly draw your hips back and down just to your degree. Draw the belly in, slow conscious breaths. What starts to come up in your mind as you're practicing balance in your body? Just notice any habits, notice any ego thoughts that arise. You might raise the arms, you might place your hands in blocks. About 4 more deep breaths. Press down to your right foot. Join your hands, come back to figure 4 chair. And start to straighten the right leg as you rise onto one foot. Bend the left knee in front of you and bring your hands to your hips. Balance the height of your hips and draw the navel in and up. Now step the ball of your left foot into the loop or center the strap and hold the strap in your right hand. Use your left thumb and hook your outer left hip, pressing it down to keep your hips balanced. Stand up taller. Feel the contrast, creating support. Kick into the strap as you pull it to whatever amount you can straighten the left leg. Breathe in, then exhale at your waistline. Begin to twist to the left. Some of you might be holding your outer left foot. Inhale, root down and rise up. Exhale, continue to twist, maybe reaching the left arm towards the rear wall, maybe looking towards it. 3 more breaths. Slowly look forward, breathe in here. And then exhale, step the left foot to meet the right. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Take your Vinyasa or cat-cow, you choose, or none at all. We'll meet in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg, keep your hips leveled. Exhale, step the foot lightly beside your right thumb and spin the left heel down. For warrior 1, inhale to rise. Bring your hands to your hips again and rotate your left outer hip forward, right hip back. As you bend the front knee right on top of the ankle, straighten the left leg and press the outer edge of your left heel into the floor. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones and lengthen through your spine, lifting the arms. Steady gaze here for about 4 more breaths. Virabhadrasana 1. As we stay a little longer, notice how you're keeping your hips evenly facing forward, drawing the navel in and up. Exhale, plank pose. Lower all the way down to your stomach. Slide your knees close together. Keep your right top of the foot pressing into the ground and actively stretch the right leg back on the floor. Bend your left knee. Reach both hands back. See if you might be able to hold your inner and outer left foot or ankle with your 2 hands. If not, just bend the knee and reach back. It's okay if you're not holding it. If you are holding it, kick the foot away from you as you pull it towards you while coiling your chest up. Keep the top of the right foot on the ground. Try to keep your hips squared where you can feel both of your frontal hip bones facing the floor. This is a one-legged version of bow pose. 3 more breaths. Try to relax the neck, soften face. When you're done, set it down, press back to downward facing dog. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb and spin your right heel down. Inhale, rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Bring your hands to your hips. Rotate your right outer hip forward, tack your left outer hip back, and bend your front knee right on top of the ankle. While you straighten your right leg, press your outer right heel into the earth. Slightly lift your frontal hip bones, and then raise the arms, relax the shoulders. About 3 more breaths in Virabhadrasana 1. Deep inhale. Exhale from plank all the way down to your stomach. Slide your knees close together. Press down firmly through the top of your left foot and actively stretch that left leg back. Bend the right knee. Reach back with both hands. Maybe catch the ankle or foot, maybe not. If you're holding it, kick the foot away as you pull it towards you. And coil your chest up. Keep the back at the top of the left foot down. 4 more breaths. Be aware if you're starting to tense the shoulders and face and neck unnecessarily. Draw the shoulder heads back and down and look slightly down. Soften the face. With an exhale, let it go. This time, you might make a pillow out of your forearms to rest your forehead on as we pause to rest for a couple of breaths. And as you're resting, you just notice where your attention goes. Slide your 2 knees together and let's put both sides together into bow dhanurasana, bringing the hips into extension. Bend your knees, reach back with your hands. You might begin by holding your outer feet. Becoming more intense is holding your inner feet or even holding your ankles in which you'd flex the feet. Press your pubic bone into the ground, and as you kick your feet back, pull them towards you, lifting your knees no wider apart than hips distance. Draw the shoulders back, lifting the chest, look slightly down. Give it another 5 to 8 breaths of your count before you let go to rest. When you've lowered to rest, you might invite ease in the lower back by windshield wiping your shins side to side a few times. Breathing in, longer exhale through the mouth to help cool off. And please press up to tabletop, hands and knees. We're going to add a restorative posture here for some deeper lower back release. So either take your 2 blocks and make a long cylindrical, no, not cylinder, prism, rectangular prism out of them like this, or use a pillow or rolled up blanket. So they're tracing the midline of your mat towards the front of the mat. Have a seat with your right outer hip against the back of that line of pillows or blocks, and straighten your legs towards your left wall. Keep your right foot where it is and slide your left leg towards your rear wall. Create an L shape out of your legs. Now place your hands along the left and right sides of your props and turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat, adjusting your pelvis and legs so you can comfortably do that, which might entail bending the knees, swiveling the right hip slightly away from the props. As you breathe in, lift your chest and stretch the front of your torso. Then little by little, start to lower down onto the props. Now, if it feels like the props are too low to actually completely surrender your body into, grab whatever you have nearby that you can comfortably stack so you can just surrender into the posture. You might use a block under your forehead. You might not have blocks under you. And just see what's available here as we stay for 2 minutes. Come back to slow breaths. You might start to lengthen your out breaths a little bit longer than your in breaths to help cool down and relax your nervous system. You might notice that the shape of this posture we're in is a variation of what we were doing standing up in the twist, in the standing balance called twisting hand to big toe pose. One more slow exhalation here. Begin to press the ground so you can lift your head and torso. Leave the props where they are and rise to sit facing the back of your mat. Straightening both legs in front of you, sitting tall for a couple of breaths. Just notice what you're feeling in your body right now. Keep your right leg where it is and slide your left leg to your left, creating an L shape. Have your left outer hip flush against the rear of your pillow or your 2 blocks. And frame the left and right sides of the props with your hands, turning your chest to face the front of your mat. Adjust your pelvis and legs so you can comfortably do that. Maybe bending the knees, maybe swiveling the left hip slightly towards the rear of your mat. As you breathe in, lift your chest, stretch the front of your torso, and then take your time lowering down. You might rearrange the configuration of your props to meet whatever the side of your body needs. It might be different, the depth that you go on this side of the twist. So really pay attention. This is where the ego might step in and be like, oh, I went so far on the other side. I need to go just as far here. One of the tendencies of the ego is to compare and to try to label things as better or worse, keeping us caught in that judgment mind. So notice if that starts to arise, if applicable. And again, remember to smile within, thanking yourself for noticing. 2 minutes here. Listen to the end of the next long exhalation before you begin to rise slowly. Coming up to sit in bound angle pose. Bring the soles of your feet together, bend your knees apart. Sit tall by rooting the sitting bones down and relax the shoulders. Keep this natural space open between your chin and chest. And lengthen up through the back of your skull. Breathe in here. And as you breathe out, begin to hinge forward from your hips, little by little. With the inhales, pause to root the pelvis down and continue to lengthen the spine. Relax the shoulders. About 8 more breaths in Baddha Konasana. You might imagine breathing into your sacrum and across your hips and inner thighs. Crawling your hands towards you, breathe in to slowly rise up. Bring your right leg over your left leg so that your legs are crisscrossed as close together as possible. If this throws you off balance, straighten your left leg forward underneath and flex the left foot. We're coming into cow face pose. Root your sitting bones down and let's bring the arms into eagle pose, which will counteract our back bends so we can have some balance in the body. Cross your left elbow over the right and either press the backs of your hands against each other, hook your thumbs, or wrap your forearms and palms. Press your shoulders and hips downward and lift up through the center of your spine. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from the hips, taking it breath by breath for about 5 slow breaths. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Press down to your hips. As you breathe in, slowly lead from the chest and rise up. Backstroke the arms and cross the legs and stretch your legs in front of you. Allow a moment to maybe circle out the feet or be still. A couple of breaths. Let's cross the opposite leg on top, the left. You can straighten the bottom leg if that helps you to sit more balanced. Cross the right elbow over the left. Hook your thumbs, press the backs of the hands against each other, or wrap the forearms and palms. Press your shoulders and hips down and lift up through the center of your spine. Exhale, start to hinge forward. 5 breaths. Root down to your hips. Breathe in, slowly rise up. Backstroke the arms, release the legs forward. And this time, let's prepare for a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You can choose to use a strap as an extension of your arms by placing the strap around the balls of your feet like this. Or you can eventually clasp your big toes. Just make sure you're not rounding your back or the shoulders or closing off the throat. To flex your feet, press your sitting bones down. You might even move the flesh of the glutes aside to do that. And slightly rotate your inner thighs downward. Press the insteps of your feet forward. And these actions help to create traction and support for your lower spine. Engage the lower belly. That also helps to support the lower back. And keep rooting the pelvis down, lift up through each vertebra, relax the shoulders, breathe in. As you exhale, start to bow. As you inhale, pause, press the pelvis down, lengthen from the lower spine up. As you exhale, only bow further if it doesn't cause any strain or around the back. So you're either holding the strap or walking the hands down the backs of your legs, maybe clasping your big toes. Tune into about 4 or 5 more breaths here. Press down through the hips, breathe in to slowly rise up. And please find a comfortable way to sit for another pranayama practice to help us more deeply relax and tune inward before Shavasana and meditation. Invite you into box breathing or Samavriti pranayama. So you can place your hands in any mudra that allows you to concentrate. One that helps to cultivate a neutral feeling or evenness of mind is to stack the palms face up on the center of your lap and let the thumb tips touch. You could close your eyes or steady a gentle downcast gaze in front of you. And this practice of breathing is just breathing through the nose, lips are closed, inhaling a count of 4, holding a count of 4, exhaling a count of 4, and holding the breath out a count of 4. That's one cycle. Let's practice 2 cycles together and 3 cycles on your own. Prepare to begin by emptying this breath. Slowly inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Second cycle. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going for 3 more cycles on your own. When you finish the last one, let go of controlling your breathing. And just notice anything coming up for you in mind, body, emotions, energy. Slowly, please lower your body to lie down in a comfortable position. You can rest in stillness for a few minutes of corpse pose, Shavasana. I invite you to splay out the legs. If you want some lower back support, you can place your blocks or pillow under the backs of your knees to support a gentle bend in the knees. And as you roll your shoulders back and down, turn the palms to face up, slightly away from your sides. Close your eyes and drop in with full presence, Shavasana. As you rest a little longer, you'll start to come back to your body. Sense the way it's feeling right now. Begin to move small parts of your body, like wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, gently stretching, and slowly turning over onto your right side. And rest your head for a moment. Observe the quality of your natural breath. How is your energy right now? Has anything changed since you arrived in this practice? Take your time rising up. Please find a comfortable way again to sit tall and relaxed for 5 minutes in meditation. You might place your hands in a mudra like you did during our breath work. You might close your eyes. Let's begin. In this mindfulness meditation, I invite you to rest your attention on the breath, just letting it flow naturally. Bring your awareness to the place in your body where you can observe the breath. Now, while observing the breath, let any thoughts, sensations, or emotions arise and go as they will. Seeing each one, including the thoughts, as just neutral events, like you're people watching. If you find yourself getting hooked by those thoughts or sounds or whatever's coming up, and you've lost your awareness on the breath, then just smile inward, thank yourself for noticing, and come back. Come back to observing the breath. Do you notice a pattern in where your attention goes? Can you notice when your ego mind starts to speak? Same thing, just smile when you notice and come back to the breath. Sense the way you're feeling now mentally and emotionally. And even notice how it felt to come back to the breath, especially if you caught yourself getting lost in thoughts. How did it feel in your body when you recognized that and made a choice to come back to the present? I invite you to experiment with this, consciously observing the thoughts and the reactions internally, and creating that space by coming back to the feeling of your breath when you're not formally meditating. Let this habit of observing the mind take place outside of the formal practice and see what you notice, see what may shift within you or externally. This is a way of bringing our practice into daily life. And come back to your intention, what brought you here today. Allow a moment to offer gratitude to anything you choose. Remember to whom you dedicated this practice. And let's close together with 3 chants of Om. Bowing in, recognize the light, the awareness within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.